Hope you're having a fabulous day. I'm along here with Bill Walsh and Tracy Enos. I didn't know if I was live yet, so just want to thank you guys for showing up on this Thursday nice afternoon. Today we're going to go over some very lucrative stuff for you that when it comes to LinkedIn, and this is going to help you actually understand the new platform as it is. Things have changed. I don't know if you paid attention to it recently, but there's a lot of great things that are happening, and we're going to share some things with you throughout the hour. Feel free to ask questions if you have, I think there's a channel, a toggle there where you can ask questions, and we'll have someone, maybe Bill or Tracy and I will actually answer those for you. But in the meantime, we're going to give you some real good content here. So get your notes out right now because, like I always say, note takers are money makers, but action takers rule the world. So with that being said, I want to bring on Tracy. And Tracy Enos, are you there?
Hey, how are you doing, Lim?
Doing great. She is with us. And Bill, are you there as well?
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
All righty. So let's get started. We're going to talk about LinkedIn, okay? And I'm going to dive right into it because I know a lot of people have misconceptions about LinkedIn. I did for a while until, you kind of schooled us on everything that's going down right now. And a lot of people are just stuck on Facebook, and all these other platforms, but they don't realize that how powerful LinkedIn is. And my first question to you is, Tracy, is LinkedIn dead?
No, LinkedIn's not dead, but I will tell you a couple months ago we were really worried about it. LinkedIn pulled one of their most awesome features, and for about 3 days their support got blown up and their stock prices fell, and so they decided to go back and put that feature back up. You guys want to know what that is?
Yeah, I was about to ask you, what was that feature? Because I'm sure most people are like, well, what happened? And, that's funny you say that their stock fell because of that as well. So, wow, that must have been a major hit there.
It was. And, LinkedIn is, a professional network, and it's there to build and, relationships professionally, correct?
Yes.
So when you take, you do all the strategies to get, to find the folks to connect with, okay, that would be your first connections, and then LinkedIn takes away your opportunity to download and export your connections. That kind of hurts. So why even have, be on LinkedIn? I've got, almost 5,800 connections, and you know what, I can't remember everybody, so it's nice for me to be able to export a CSV file of all my connections, right?
Right. Yeah,
the way that feature, you upset a whole lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. That seems like that would be a no-no.
It is a no-no.
Wow. So a lot of things that I have heard and thought about, is when them taking all these things away, or let's just say the restrictions they're putting up on us. Are they trying to get us to, do more advertising, or can we still, basically do well at the free version of LinkedIn?
That's a loaded question.
So let's just put this in.
I could talk all day about that.
Okay.
let's break that down a little bit. So yes, LinkedIn recently has established some limitations that we all got, for the last couple of years were free for us. And LinkedIn said, you know what, it's about time we make our shareholders happy. So it's a pay to play, but there's still a couple things on there that you can do that's free. It just takes some time. But differences between free and paid, or free and premium, I can't go into all of them right now. That's, we're going to talk more about that at a later date. But it just depends on, honestly, what you're using it for. But in the end, I always teach free first because free's good, right?
Right.
But in the long run, you're going to probably want to upgrade to a premium account, especially if you're really going to utilize LinkedIn to find leads. Honestly.
Wow. So you know, there's a lot of things that I didn't realize that were going on with LinkedIn, and I'm sure people out there right now are just using the free version and they don't know what they're doing and they don't know the limitations as well. We're going to talk about that today a little bit.
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
Okay, she said a little bit. Okay, good. Good. All right. Should we post to get attention? I do that a lot, and I'm just wondering, is that worth it throughout my connections with me?
I missed that.
Should we post like different things to get you know, attention from my audience or my connections? Like post different things, like this webinar, for example. Should we post like that?
Absolutely. I mean, to be honest with you, people get clients for a couple reasons. One, they're either really good at closing sales, right? But before you even get that potential client in there, you got to position yourself as the thought leader and the expert in your industry, right? I mean, if you don't, then you're not credible. So by going in, and there's different places and ways to post in LinkedIn, but even sharing, you know, a status update, and it doesn't always have to be your content, but it should be relevant to your audience or to your first level connections, all right?
Time out. It doesn't have to be our content. We can use anyone else's content. Is that what you're saying?
Why not? Because you took the time to go find that information, and now you're sharing it with your first connections in the news feed. So that's positioning you as the thought leader, wouldn't you say?
So that means basically anything that has to do with, let's just say buying traffic, media buy. I can find any article and bring it to LinkedIn, and that will be, well, it will be helpful for them, but that's well known on LinkedIn. That's what you're saying.
Yes, I suggest you read the article then before posting the link so that you can put your little spin on it, you know, your thoughts on it before posting it as a status update. And before we go any further, hey, Bill, are you watching the chat? Because people are asking questions, but I want to hold the questions off to the end because we're probably going to end up answering a lot of those while we're here. Okay, so because people are asking right now about extracting the list of connections and things like that, so I will do it. I'm going to share my screen here. I'm going to share my screen here in a little bit. I'm going to show you where all this stuff is at.
Yeah,
we're going to get to you.
Yeah, give it a couple minutes here because most of these questions I'm seeing in the chat, she's actually about to answer. So, absolutely.
And I'm going to share my screen because you don't want to see me and explain it. I got to show you. So, all right.
Okay. So basically, yeah, we were talking about just sharing different posts to get attention. And are you able to do that? This is I might throw one at you. Are you able to do that in groups as well? I haven't ever been in a group. I'm part of a few. I've never even added any kind of articles or anything. But are you able to do that in groups, or is that forbidden, or how does that work?
No, absolutely. I mean, you want to position yourself as a thought leader in groups, whether they're industry groups, like within your industry, okay? Because you never know where you might get your next referral from, all right? And where your audience could be hanging out, finding groups and going and joining those groups. And then you want to position yourself as the thought leader and post stuff in discussions and also join in on the other people's discussions and maybe answer their question or you know, add your spin on it or whatever, because when you start getting active in there, people are going to go and go, you know what, who's this person? They sound really intelligent. I'm going to go check them out. And they're going to go to your profile and they're going to check you out, right? So that's a great place where you'll be able to get visible somewhat, and they'll go in and potentially try and connect with you because you've already positioned yourself as a thought leader. You're not always doing promo. You're going out and giving them valuable content, valuable information to help them and their pain points.
Very nice. So you hit something as far as recognizing yourself to be an authority. How do you do that? I know there's a lot of people on LinkedIn. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people doing almost the same thing you're doing, but how do you stand out in front of the crowd?
Well, there's almost 380 million members on LinkedIn worldwide.
Holy.
So, but your audience is there. They really are there. So shall we go to my screen? I'll share screen, and you can ask questions, and I can, you know, do some explanations by sharing.
Sure, that'll be perfect. And we'd like to thank you guys for joining us while she's about to share her screen. We're talking about LinkedIn, and we're going to show you 3 ways to get you LinkedIn leads before this is all over with. And sit back, relax, and get questions inside the chat there as we are going through this, because there might be something that we will miss. We want to make sure we get to you. So are we ready?
We're ready. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm in LinkedIn. So I'm going to answer this first question before we go any further. Okay, so you do not need a paid account in order to export your connections. Okay, all you need to do is log into your LinkedIn profile, click on connections. Okay, not to the drop down, just click on connections, which will bring me up to the same page. All right, you're going to hit the gear icon. It's kind of hidden. All right, so you know how to get there now. And right there, see where it says export LinkedIn connections? And if you guys can't see it, let me know, because I have a touch screen and I can blow up my screen.
Ooh, fancy. Fancy computer.
So,
love it.
Look at that. You know what? So right now, I potentially can download 5,839 connections. And this isn't just my connections. These are also my followers. So we'll go into that a little bit more. But to share with you, LinkedIn only allows you to have 30,000 first-level connections, but they allow you unlimited followers. So if you go look at Barack Obama online there, for all you Barack Obama fans, he's got over 1 million followers. Which is
on LinkedIn?
On LinkedIn, absolutely.
Did not know that. Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
So what's really cool here is, I've made contact with all these folks. Now what I could do is download that, list and then put them into an email campaign. All right, don't spam. That's not the whole idea, is to download this list and spam them. Okay, but or you can go in there and segment that list and pick out certain folks that meet your criteria, that maybe you're a prospect of yours. All right, and then reach out to them. All right, individually. Not necessarily into like a bulk email campaign, but this way it gives you all their information. It'll give you their phone number, their email address if they have one listed. It all depends on what's in their profile. It'll give you their link to their public profile in that list as well, so it's easy for you to find them. So it's really cool. So this is what LinkedIn actually took away, was this opportunity to export your connections, and it made a lot of people mad. So I think that probably would have been the demise of LinkedIn had they continued with that. So, but anyway.
All right.
All right, next question.
So did we ever get to how do we recognize ourselves as an authority? No, we didn't.
No, and I'm going to tell you what, there's a whole strategy behind doing that. It's not any one thing. But what I'm going to tell you, it does start with your profile. All right? Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go view my profile as somebody public. All right? So this is what somebody else sees, with exception of this bar right here, is what somebody sees. They're going to see this background photo first before they scroll down. I call this term above the fold. It's an old newspaper term. And that's, the newspaper had the best headlines before you open up the newspaper, right? So it got, it got you to buy the newspaper. All right? Same thing with LinkedIn. Your best stuff, you've got one chance to make a first impression. You got about 7 seconds. Make it count. All right, so to initially intrigue somebody as a thought leader and an authority in your industry is going to start with your background photo, your name, your profile photo, and your headline. Okay, so I'm not going to dive deep into how to do all that. I think we're going to be sharing a little bit more information on that at a later date. I'm going to give you guys some very specific tips on how to do that next week.
Right, right. I've noticed some people's profile, they just have little, like they took it at Subway or something. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I can kind of show you one of those if you'd like.
Okay.
Oh, I get a kick out of what people do. So here's a really good friend of mine, Nitish.
Right.
And Nitish is from India.
Right.
And he's my computer guru, and he's in his car. It is a total Instagram photo, if you ask me, right? So
how funny.
This is what not to do.
Right. Okay, awesome. So let's talk about the myth of LinkedIn for only recruiters. I mean, is LinkedIn only for recruiters and people who are trying to get jobs, or How does that work? Because I mean, it's only for corporate jobs. What? Tell me, because I know a lot of people think that this is what it's for. Is this what it was for when it first started as well?
Well, back in 2003, that was the what's the word I'm looking for? That was what LinkedIn was built for, was to put your professional resume on LinkedIn and for people a way to find a job. So it was perfect for recruiters, headhunters, staffing agencies, HR, looking for talent, right? Well, over time, it morphed into what it is today, is a professional network, and it's a way to get past the gatekeeper and find your ideal client or your perfect client. But I'm going to tell you, even so today, it is huge for recruiters and headhunters alike, because they use a lot of different tools like ZipRecruiter, maybe Monster, but they're also using LinkedIn because over 90% or 92% of all CEOs in Fortune 500 companies have a LinkedIn profile. Is that not crazy or what?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so if you're a local marketer, for example, let's say, your dentist, for example, let's go see what I just did right here. Let's say that you are looking for a dentist in your local area, okay? So what I did is a simple Boolean search right here. We'll go into Boolean search at a later date as well, because that's a whole, half an hour conversation about search. But so I did dentist, so I did a broad search and I did an exact search, and then I came down and I did a geographic postal code within 100 miles of that code. And I understand this is within my network, okay? So I have 5,800 people in my network, so this is who they're connected to, all right? So it's second connections, group members, so that's, I get up to, you get up to 50 groups to belong to, so this could be people that are second and third connections in the groups, all right? Third in everyone else, and I wanted it in the United States, so you can look anywhere in the world that you wish, okay? So I came up with 641 results. Now, if you were, like a video marketer that did commercials for local businesses, don't you think this would be valuable right here?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, but also got to understand, we're going to talk about free and paid right here. If you have a free account, LinkedIn is going to limit your searches monthly. Now, do we know what that exact amount is? No, and it depends on usage. So back in March, like I said, I always teach free before paid, and I actually never had a premium account until March. And so I decided to do a test. And here's what happened. I exhausted my searches in 2 days. All right? And what happened then is LinkedIn said, you cannot search anymore. You can do one of two things. You can upgrade to a premium account, and they give you 30 days to try it for free, all right? Or you can wait till it resets the next month. So for me, resetting to the next month on March 2nd was not going to fly, because I was speaking at 2 recruiter conferences in Denver and in Nashville, and I needed a premium account because I had to teach. So that's what I did. So that's one difference that you're going to see between a free and a premium account. Okay?
Wow.
So what will happen is LinkedIn, like at the bottom of this here, they will blur out the rest of the connections that it pulls up when you do a search.
Interesting.
Right. So if you're going to start using LinkedIn a lot for research and to find leads, competitor or client research, I recommend that you upgrade. Don't do it to the job seeker account, because that won't give you unlimited searches. Do Business Premium or Sales Navigator. Unless you're a recruiter, then you want a recruiter account.
Huh. Okay. Very nice. Wow. So, I mean, looking at this, when you're down there at your keywords, dentist and dentists, if you're looking for a guy named John Smith or whatever, you can just actually put a last name in and actually could find him that way, right?
That's a common name. You're probably going to find a lot.
I know, right?
I got 46,000 results for John Smith.
Now, can you? Okay. Well, I'm trying to get deeper in this. I shouldn't go there, but oh well.
What you guys got to understand is that when you pull up a search, let's say, for example, Lem, you're going to pull up the same search as me. We may
Right.
get some of the same results, but our network is different depending on who you're connected with and how many connections that you have. So our results might be different.
Got it. So, okay, with all that being said, with LinkedIn, is, in your opinion, do you think this is still an untapped resource that people are missing out on?
I really do. And you know what? I teach a lot of local workshops on LinkedIn. And then I talk to a lot of folks too. And you know what? There's still a misconception and a mystery about LinkedIn and how to use it. And you know what? LinkedIn is there's so many facets to LinkedIn. It's not as easy to get a grasp of right away. There's a learning curve with it. You know, Facebook is pretty simple unless you want to really dive deep into Facebook ads. But, you know, for Facebook in general, for business pages, it's not really that difficult, right?
Right.
But LinkedIn, there's so much in here, and there's so much that you can do. I have a good friend of mine who I actually helped get on the publishing platform, and this is all he uses. I got a case study we're going to talk about next week. Okay, this is all he uses is LinkedIn and his Gmail address. He doesn't have a website. He doesn't have a blog. He doesn't use landing pages or anything like that. This is it. He doesn't even have a smartphone.
That's so funny.
Wow. Just using LinkedIn and a Gmail account.
That's it. That is it. And good follow-up skills, I might say. Right. So, and he's an executive coach, so most of his clients are local.
Right.
You know, he has a few that are somewhere else. I don't know how he manages to do that because he doesn't even have a camera on his Mac. So I'm telling you, he's so, 10 years ago still. So,
wow.
But he makes it work for him. I mean, it's amazing what LinkedIn can do for you if you just take the time to set it up and then work the strategies, and it should only take you maybe 20 to 30 minutes a day, to be honest with you.
Okay, cool. So, so give me, what are the, everybody is normally with, Facebook and they're into it and they're trying to get, CEOs and companies to recognize them there. But what are the biggest advantages with LinkedIn over Facebook? And I'm sure you have some statistics on that, but I'm just curious to see what your thoughts are on that.
Well, besides the fact that a LinkedIn member, their average income is in the six figures. Facebook's average income is only in the five figures, per member. So that's good news, right? So, I've been in the local marketing space before. It really sucks when you got somebody who says, I can't afford it, right? Well, these guys can't afford it. I mean, your averages are, I think it's $102,000. It might have gone up since then. Maybe it's $109,000 now. But those guys their average income is $109,000, even if you're a small boutique firm, and your services are ranging, anywhere between, $400 or $500 to $1,000 or so a month. These guys can afford it, and they're here. So, like I said, there was 92% of CEOs using LinkedIn. 90% of Fortune 50 companies only use LinkedIn to find their next talent. How amazing is that?
Wow.
Just LinkedIn, and then 50% of mobile users access LinkedIn on their tablet or their smartphone. That's a pretty high number. So, from my understanding, Facebook, most people, access the app just on their personal profile to look through the news feed, but they don't use it for business. These people are using it for business.
The average income was what again in the six figures?
It's $109,000. I may be slightly off there, but it's in the six figures.
I've heard that before, and that just hit me. It was like, pow! I was like, what? Only six figure people there? What? That's crazy. And that eliminates when you're trying to go give your service out to these guys. That eliminates the I can't afford it. I mean, you hear a lot of, that we go after plumbers, and I'm sure they're not going to really be on LinkedIn unless they're a well-established company like Benjamin Franklin, something like that. But
can I beg to differ with you on that?
Go ahead.
Because last year, it was the year prior to that, I was targeting roofing companies nationwide, just in the United States, you would be impressed on how many small roofing companies are on LinkedIn. Now, they may not all have a company profile, but the owners are on there, and they're in groups. Now, I joined a group, a roofing group. Actually, I may even still, I don't even know if I actually took it off, because I no longer work in the local space. So, let's see. Do I have my roofer group still in here?
I'm joining that one. I'm joining that one. I'm joining that one.
That's the only thing is, yeah.
That's funny.
Hey, you know what? There's enough business to go around. Please,
that's right.
Groups.
And everybody think I'm joking too.
Come on, bring it on. No, so I don't actually. I took it off because I'm still a member of the Dentist Network, though.
Right.
And you're going to find a lot of groups. Now, look at this group right here. You see that little lock right there?
Yes.
Okay, that's a private group. So for those of you who say, well, I'm not a dentist, I'm a marketer for dentists, I'm not going to be allowed in this group. Well, I got in, right? So if you don't get in right away, you can always email or message the moderator and give them a good, compelling reason to bring you into the group, okay? But start with free first, because there's plenty of dentist networks and stuff that are free, especially if you're in the local space, you can find local groups, okay? And especially if you get into this group, last thing you want to do is promote, because first of all, you're going to get red flagged, and then every one of your comments or discussions are going to have to get moderated. And if you're in a group with thousands and thousands of members, these moderators don't have time. They'll just ignore it, okay? There's a place for that, and that's called the promotions tab, all right? So you should always provide value first and then promote later once you have positioned yourself as a thought leader and the authority in your industry. Make sense?
Yes, so that brings me to the question, because I'm sure a lot of people are confused about this. And what types of group a local marketer should be trying to get into? Boom, that's for you guys, see?
Right, so you can research groups. So this is awesome. So right at the top where the search bar is, you can identify what you want to search, okay? So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go Kansas City, or let's see, dentists, Kansas City. I live in Kansas City, outskirts of Kansas City, so we'll just use my town. All right, so I don't see dentistry. Okay, that's university alumni. However, it's a locked group, but you may find, and there's 4,100 members, you know, you may find dentists in here that have graduated and opened up their own practice, okay? So you just want to try different terms to see what you can find. Let's see, groups about dentists. So, and then you can peruse, and what they do is LinkedIn lists them by members and activity. All right, so look at how many discussions in this network group that I'm already in. 4,200 discussions. That's an active group. Do you
That's
think,
a very active group.
Do you think maybe that your articles that you write or something that you find that is valuable to the group, you would get seen? 4,200 people would see it because they're in there and they're talking.
So right there was like a big boom for you guys, because now you know to find groups that are actually active versus as the one you see on there that's like one, I think the next one's like, what, 3,062 members and only 180 discussions?
You know what? That might be okay. I would try it because you can join and leave a group at any time you want.
True.
Hey, just some people are asking some questions. Guys, we'll get to you. We're not ignoring you. We just want you to know that. I just don't want to throw Tracy off track. So let her finish this piece, and then we'll answer a bunch of questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I might give us a little halftime here in a minute and answer a few questions if she doesn't go too long on them. All right. All right. Awesome. Wow. So let's shift gears a little bit. Can you give us an example of how a CEO has found you on LinkedIn for your services?
Oh my gosh, I have a great story for that.
Okay.
Story for that. And I'm sharing this story, and I'm not sharing it to brag, okay? I'm sharing it to show you the power of LinkedIn. Okay?
Awesome.
So, I've got 2 short stories for you. Okay, so in December of last year, I decided to, let me go to my groups. I decided to do a group campaign to a lawyer group. Okay? This, I think it was the illegal group. All right? I can't remember which one of these groups. And by the way, before I get too much further, groups can also have subgroups. So always check that when you go into a group, they will display subgroups with it as well. That might be beneficial to you. So, so here's what happened. Last year, I could message up to about 100 members within that group a day. Well, LinkedIn recently changed that, and these are one of the big changes. So one of my strategies that I'm going to share with you, you can no longer use because of the limitations. Now, this limits every member in LinkedIn. It doesn't matter whether you have a free or a paid account, okay? So what you typically will do is, I don't think I'm a member of this group for some reason, because I should have members right here. Let me go search. So what oh yeah, I did. Okay, so what I did was I went to members, okay? And I went to the page where, you know, LinkedIn will show you first, and then all your first connections that are also in this group.
Right.
What you can do is you can go and send a message for free. Okay, I don't want to do it to my first connection. So what I did is I went in, and these folks were not connected with me. So if you guys want to go on my LinkedIn page later and go check out one of the posts I did back in December. Actually, it's the last one. I haven't posted anything since. Shame on me. But this was the strategy that I used. Now, I didn't blow up their inbox with some spammy request or some spammy post, okay? What I did is I went in there and politely said, hey, I see that, you know, we are a member of the same illegal group. I like to connect with like-minded people. And what happened is I started growing my connections. Now, once these guys connected with me, I sent a follow-up email, because I know when they connected, because LinkedIn will tell you, you got a new connection right up here in your
Right,
stats.
right.
Okay? So I went back in and replied to them, thanking them for connecting with me, and then what I did is I told them a little bit about what I did, and I gave them something away for free, something of value to them. Now what started happening was I started getting responses back, and I had about a 40 to 45% response rate, and one of these was a CEO of an online continuing education for lawyers.
Oh.
Now, if you guys don't know what CE is, I just said that, continuing education.
Right.
So lawyers are required by law to have so many hours to keep their license active, right?
Right.
So he reached out to me. He paid me for a business consult, which was free, but he said, no, I'm going to pay you for your time. How awesome was that?
How about that?
That's right, because it was like I did a 30-minute consult. That's what I gave away for free. And after that, he paid me. A couple months later, he reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, I have a proposal for you. How would you like it if I flew you out here to Orlando? I'm like, I'm game. All right, tell me more. So their whole business model is they have lawyers teaching continuing education to other lawyers. And these lawyers pay for these classes online. Okay? Well, nobody had done anything for LinkedIn for lawyers. So because of my profile and because I gave him a valuable business consultation about how to use LinkedIn, he flew me out to the Hard Rock Hotel, Universal. Okay? We ate at the Palms restaurant, which is incredibly expensive to eat at. Booze, food. I mean, he took me out to the City Walk, wine and dine me, and I did a 4-hour segment with one of his guinea pig lawyers, and it was a lot of fun, and they filmed it, they put it on their website. I mean, it was awesome. And because his assistant had made my flight home a little too early, there was no refund on the ticket. He just bought another ticket. Says, I don't want to leave that early. Here, I'm going to buy you another ticket right now. I was like, holy cow, man. So there's number one. I thought that was really cool, and that's all because I did a strategy. And it took me all of about, copy paste 100 messages. Okay, copy paste, headlines, and then I personalized the message. Okay, I didn't just say hey boss or anything like that, but I put their name in there. And it took all of about maybe an hour a day, and I did this for 10 days. And I ended up with some clients out of it. And I did some LinkedIn profiles, and I did some business consults. And then, of course, my trip to Orlando. That was awesome. So the second one is just the last few months, I was reached out by a young lady who's on the sales team at Marriott here in Kansas City. She found me on LinkedIn. Well, how did she find me on LinkedIn? Well, actually, it was the St. Louis Marriott that sent her my profile and says, you need to talk to her. I've never talked to the Marriott sales team in St. Louis. Okay? So they decided to hire me to come out to do an all-day seminar for their sales staff on how to use LinkedIn to get leads. So I'm actually going back out to St. Louis in December.
That's awesome.
And they're paying me for it. Absolutely.
So is this normal? I mean, is this like everyday work? People do this all the time, right? They get shipped out to go do some training and to teach their staff and their company how to, use LinkedIn?
More and more it is becoming common now because LinkedIn is such a mystery, and if you don't, like with anything in business, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to try and go and, go seek out law books to try to find a solution to my problem, right? I'm going to hire somebody with the expertise to do it for me or to teach me how to do it, okay? So, and that's the same thing with LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn, like I said earlier, there's so many facets to LinkedIn. It's hard to grasp it in one sitting, and I've had years of practice and have trained thousands of people on how to use LinkedIn. I mean, I eat, sleep, drink LinkedIn. I mean, it was hilarious. I mean, just yesterday, my kids go, I don't know what LinkedIn is. And I'm like, it's like Facebook for business people, and that's not really what it is, but how else am I going to explain it to a 12-year-old, right?
Right.
So all he hears me talk about is LinkedIn, 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 LinkedIn. Well, finally yesterday he goes, Mom, you do that LinkedIn thing, right? I'm like, yeah, kind of, sort of. He goes, well, I saw a commercial on TV about LinkedIn yesterday. I was like, really cool. So now he kind of is getting a grasp of it, so it's really funny. I mean, a 12-year-old's obviously not going to use LinkedIn, but you are going to find more and more college students that are on here while they're in college or graduated high school. I think I read a statistic the other day. It's 12 to 15% of high school students now are on LinkedIn. Wow. So if your ideal client is a millennial, or they're a college student, or they're about ready to graduate, guess what? They're here.
Huh. I don't think I ever seen a LinkedIn commercial. Now you say that. I've never seen a LinkedIn commercial on TV. Ever.
I haven't either, and he was watching the True TV channel.
Out of all the channels in the world,
yep,
True TV. Oh, wow. So I have a question here, and I'm a little confused on what I was writing, but I think I'm going to put it in my own words because I think I know what's going down here. Why are people not using LinkedIn correctly? That's what I really wanted to say. Why are they not using the platform correctly?
Okay, I'm going to share with you right now. The first thing is a no-no. Please do not do this. Okay, this guy is a connection, and this is his personal profile. Now, they're out in India, okay? Two things here. First of all, your profile photo is what? A company logo, and it's not even cropped well at that, okay? Secondly, if you do business with people you know, like, and trust. Am I not right?
That's right.
Okay, you don't do business with companies. I don't do business with my UPS. I do business with Gerald, my UPS guy, because he'll come and pick up my packages for me, and he's been my UPS guy for 4 years.
Or John Smith.
Or John Smith. Right? So first of all, use your profile as your profile, because people do business with people they like, and so this is a way for them to start to get to know you. Okay, so I don't know what this fella's name is, and the only reason I connected with this person is because I actually sent him a message and said, hey, you're doing this all wrong, and I felt like I had to, you know, help somebody, right? So yeah, leave it up to me to do that. But so I'm not looking for Pacerline business development. If I was doing that, I'm going to go to a company page to do that, okay? Because you can search up here for companies, all right? Second of all, the first thing he did after he connected with me is spammed me. And here's that message. Hi, madam. Didn't even use my name, okay? We have well-experienced team of bookkeeping, financial reporting. All he did is he vomited his opportunity all over me. You know what? He doesn't know me. How does he know that I need this? Right? And then he didn't use my name.
Right.
So,
you know, that's standard because you said he was from India, right?
Correct.
And that's how they relate to other sources outside of their country. And I know that's been that way because I get a lot of those through my email and my company email, and it's just crazy how they start out just like that. Hello, sir. You know?
Well,
I get it.
somebody may need to. I know that it's, you know, complimentary, but somebody may need to teach them how we do it in the United States.
Right.
All right.
We're accustomed to, yeah. I get it. All right. Wow.
That's one thing right there. Okay. So, what else not to do? Here's some mistakes. You've got to fill out your profile 100%. Okay, and because if you don't do that, and let's say you get into a group and you're getting really active in the discussions, people are going to go check you out, because if you sound like you're awesome and you're, you know, thought-provoking and you're positioning yourself as the authority, they want to know more about you. All right, one chance again to make your first impression, and if you're not doing that with your profile, you could have lost a potential client, right? Mm-hmm. So make sure that your profile is filled out 100%. Secondly, fill out your profile so you pre-qualify those people when they land on your profile, whether they find you organically or whether they go and land on your profile because you did an outreach program, okay? Or somebody shared some of your content or whatnot, okay? So you want to pre-qualify them. This fella, Pacer or whatever, did not do any of that, all right? So the summary. Okay, the summary doesn't tell me who this is for, okay? Here's what I like to do in a summary. I like to tell a little bit about who I am, because that gets people comfortable with, you know, a little bit about me, and it's done in first person. Does it not annoy anybody when they talk about themselves in third person?
I love it.
So
I've never recognized it or had any issues, but now that you mention that, maybe, I guess.
It does. Look, my 15-year-old called me on it a few months ago. I just was taking him to practice, and I just started talking about myself in third person. He looked at me, he goes, would you shut up? It's annoying. I'm like, what? Because you're talking about yourself in third person. I was like, oh, crap, I was. Sorry. So anyway, so I like to craft my profile, and there's not any wrong way with the exception of the first versus third person in a profile, but here's what has built me gotten me most of my clients is because I crafted it in a way where I told them a little bit about me, so people like to do business with they have stuff in common with, okay? I gave a little bit of history about my expertise. Why am I talking to them about marketing? Well, I've got 18 plus years in sales and marketing. And then I started identifying the people who I wanted to work with. And it's not everybody, guys. I'm going to tell you that. Okay? And then what I did is I shared with them what's in it for them, the WIIFM, what's in it for me. Okay? You got to let them know, look, is there a pain point that you can solve? Let them know that you can solve that. All right, maybe share what that pain point is and that your company or you can solve that situation for them, okay? So everybody wants to know what's in it for them, and you got to do it quickly, okay? I call that drive-through marketing. We want our food and we want it fast. Well, LinkedIn is no different than that, okay? So get to the point. Don't just babble, All right, and then last but not least, put a call to action in there, because if nobody knows how to reach you, especially if you haven't filled out, and a lot of people won't go here, is they won't go to your contact info right here. Okay, I do, because I want people to find me, and these are little tips and tricks that I teach, but a lot of folks, they won't fill this out. So if you don't give them a way to connect with you, whether it's a phone number, email address, a landing page that they can go to, whatever it may be, your call to action, and tell them what it is. Hey, call me for a free consult. I'm giving away $97 value, or whatever it is that you want to do. Then you've lost a potential client, because I'm going to tell you what, the last thing they're going to do is going to keep scrolling and looking for your contact info. Give it to them up front. And the best place to do that, and I'm going to do it here when I change my background photo, is right there in your background photo. And if they like your headline and you've spoken to them because your headline shared what it is that you do, okay, you're not CEO of your company. You are like mine. I am a LinkedIn marketer. I help people with business development. I'm a coach and a trainer, and I'm a speaker. Okay, I've qualified myself right then, and if somebody's interested, I don't want them going and searching through my profile just to try to find a way to connect with me. I'm going to put it right here in my background photo. That is valuable real estate right there. Hey, here's my phone number. Contact me for a free consult, or go to this website, or, And you know what? Guys, I know a lot of you on here are probably internet marketers or already in the space, so it's not new to you, but for those that are not, I'm going to tell you what, here's a place where you can get this done incredibly cheap, and it's not $200 or $300 like it used to be. That's Fiverr. You go into the design part, graphics and design, and you'll find people in there that'll do it for as little as $5. I like the one that's more like $25 because they'll give me unlimited revisions. But even at $25, I could change that out once a month if I wanted to and test what photo works best.
Ha! How about that? Yeah. Okay.
I hope everybody's taking as much notes as I am. This is like a lot of stuff that yeah. Anyway, continue.
Okay, cool.
All right, do you want to take a break now and answer some questions?
Let's go ahead.
Yeah, let's answer some questions. So let me start at the beginning here. There's quite a lot. So let's see. Maurice asks, when are they going to remove the max 50,000 connection limit?
You mean 30,000?
Oh, it's 30,000? Okay.
30,000. You know what? I don't know. LinkedIn oftentimes will just implement stuff and they don't tell you. I'm one of the first profiles that gets the new stuff updated. Like, for example, LinkedIn Publisher only used to be available for influencers, and there only had 500 influencers. Influencers were like Richard Branson, Guy Kawasaki, okay? Well, then they opened up the publishing platform for so a few select members in November of 2013, and I was one of those. I did not utilize it until last year. Shame on me, I should have, because I would have blown up my profile. You have no idea. And then they opened it up for the rest of the members in spring a year ago. So,
okay.
Yeah, so the 30,000 limit, I wouldn't know it until it happens.
Okay.
That's why I think they added followers, because your followers, anytime that you create a publisher post, your followers are going to get notified. They don't necessarily have to be first connections. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so you can have unlimited that if they wanted to. The only difference is that you can't message your followers, all right? So that's the unfortunate part. You can only message your first connection.
Okay.
Or, well, you can't only message your first connections. You can also message connections in the groups that you belong to as well. So, oh, by the way, did I forget to share how many messages now you can only, the limits in groups? I'm sure somebody's probably asked that question. It's 15 for the month, and that's not per group. That's total, with all groups combined. Only 15. So if you have a free account, you can only limit 15, and if you message your first connection in a group, that counts. All right. What doesn't count is if once they've responded back to you in the inbox, that doesn't count. All right. That doesn't go towards that 15. If you'll need to upgrade to a premium account to get what they call InMail, and that's where LinkedIn says that you can message any of your second or third connections through InMail, and you get, depending on your premium account level, you get up to I think 50. I think at one time I had 35. I've never used InMail, but LinkedIn guarantees 100% deliverability, and if they respond to you, LinkedIn will credit you another InMail.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
Okay, so next one here. Do I need a paid account to extract the list of connections from LinkedIn?
No, I think I answered that a little bit ago. No, you do not.
Let's see. Explain the difference between posts and status updates.
Okay, cool. So you're going to go over to your home page.
That's a good question. Whoever wrote that.
That was Derek.
Nice.
Okay, so let me hide that. All right, so you're going to go over to your home tab, okay? Click on that, and this is where you're going to see this, okay? So share an update right there is where it will land right here in the news feed that people will scroll through, okay? Kind of like a Facebook news feed, all right? A publisher post is right here, and then you're going to click on that, and it's going to bring you to a little kind of blogging platform. Like if anybody's familiar with like WordPress, this is where you add your photo and then add your content to it. Okay, so you get a little short kitchen sink over here. What I like to do with this is a little tip for you guys is write it in Word first and then copy and paste it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and then you can format it a little bit better. All right, you can add images, you can add links, you can add video to it. It's really cool. Really, really, really cool. And then so what it looks like when you're done is it's going to look like this.
Well, here's a question I have for you then. Which is better, to do the shared update since it's going to your public feed, or to share that post?
Both, because you're going to reach more people through a post than you are through the news feed, because the news feed's constantly going.
Okay.
Right? That's like sitting there and scrolling and scrolling. That to me is insanity. I don't like to do that. But I get notified when somebody writes something, and if I'm interested in it because it's got a great headline, I'm going to go click on it and read it, and then I'm going to probably go and share it. You can share it now within your own LinkedIn or on Facebook and Twitter. All right, so which is really cool. Or I could take that link right there. Let's say I want to highlight that link, and I call this cross promotion, and go, it may be somebody else's content, but it was really awesome and they probably did a better job than me, and I'm going to go and I'm going to promote that as great content in one of my groups.
Nice. You go, girl. Do your thing. That's what I'm saying. And I got to be honest with you, there was a week where I just was on I was on a rampage. I was sharing and posted stuff. I even influenced Billy. I saw Billy start doing it, because Billy was like, what is Lim doing? And I was like, man, but I did get some feedback from that, and so that's interesting. I wanted to know which one had the most juice for people to look and notice you, and I noticed that what you said there was doing exactly publishing in that as an article, like the old WordPress thing, and just going. So it was nice, man. So anyway, that's a good question. Keep going,
Yeah.
Bill.
So,
Yeah, totally true.
Hang on a second. So also LinkedIn will share with you how many times somebody's viewed your update, which is your status update.
Yes.
So I posted this webinar a couple days ago, and I got 349 views. So somebody's looking at me, and they probably went to my profile.
That's good analytics right there. Good analytics.
Out, right?
Right.
That's what you want to do. So that's the more often that you do this, and the more good stuff that you put on here, and that's not Facebooky. What did I see in here earlier today? Like that, really? I don't care that it's raining in New York City and the sun's going to shine. Have a wonderful day. That to me is a Facebook. Now, there's 27.
I'm not saying that. Don't be a hater. She got 27 thumbs up.
I'm not trying to be a hater, okay? What I'm trying to say is, you know what? If I'm looking for great content, this convolutes my news feed, and I can't see the good stuff.
Right. True. It's more like business here, which is true.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying every once in a blue moon you can, but if you're going to have a photo with this, something like this, maybe have a great article that goes with it, right? Because photos are going to get more activity than if you just post just a text update, right?
Okay. All right, Bill.
Okay, let's see. What's the difference between connections and contacts? We went through that part, I think, didn't we?
Okay, so a connection is, okay, I'm going to use this example. So I'm connected to Bill, so Bill is my first connection. Okay, so that means that Bill can message me right here in my inbox. Anything that Bill posts, or if he's got a new job or has a birthday or anything like that, LinkedIn's going to notify me because we're directly connected. Okay, so let's say Bill is connected to Lim, but I'm not connected to Lim. So Lim would be my second connection. I would not see all this stuff that Lim has put out at all, and Lim could only message me through a group if we had a group in common, okay? And let's just say Lim is connected to this fellow, Ronnie Deaver.
John Smith.
So Ronnie would be Lim's first connection, Ronnie would be Bill's second connection, and Ronnie would be my third connection. Does that make sense?
Yes, but let's take this deeper, because what if I need Ronnie Deaver? What if you need Ronnie Deaver? How are you going to get introduction to him? How do you do that besides the group?
I'm going to go search for, this is my good old buddy, and he's probably going to email me going, I saw you looking at my profile. So I'm just going to go, I'm not going to look up, let's do this. And instead of clicking on him, okay, so here's a LinkedIn. Let's say you want to get introduced to somebody that you don't know that's connected to one of your first connections.
Yes, this is important, y'all. Pay attention. Yes.
You would go to them and you would say that we have, okay, I've got shared connections with them, okay? But what you could do is if you went to somebody's profile, maybe this isn't a good example because I'm already connected with Bob. So let's try, I don't have anybody similar to him, but let me see. Oh, he's my third, so that won't work. All right. Well, let's just go to a group. Okay. So go into groups. Pick a group. That's not a good group. Let's go back to that. Couple ways you can do it is you can, if they're a second or a third and they have a group in common, so if I go to somebody and I want to be connected to them, what I would do is go scroll down their profile. Okay, so I'm going to go to Nitish. I'm going to go scroll down his profile and go, I really want to meet Nitish. And if he has it activated, I do not have mine activated, I'm going to go to groups and find Nitish and message him, especially if I have a free account. Okay? Another way to do this is, ooh, look at that. He's connected with these folks. Now, let's say I want to go to Cheval John, all right? And Cheval's connected with him, and I'm not connected with Nitish. I could go send Cheval a message and say, would you be so kind as to introduce me to Nitish?
Nice.
And then he can make the recommendation.
Huh.
But I prefer the group route first, because it's a lot less time consuming, and you go directly to the source, because I can message. I remember I get 15 messages a month, or I could use an InMail for him as well. Does that answer the question?
Yes, awesome. Keep it going, Billy.
Cool. All right. Mari asked, how do you approach people on LinkedIn if you do make videos for local businesses?
Okay, first of all, get involved with groups where these people are hanging out. I don't know your industry, but if you could probably go and try and find the industry group, that would be your perfect client. So I don't know if it's a restaurant or if it's, you know, some sort of professional service like financial planners or dentists or, you know, anything like that sort. They're in here. Okay, so what I would first do is go into groups and look and see where your ideal clients are hanging out and join those groups, especially if they're free to join and they're not locked. Okay. Second of all, I would do a search. All right, so I would search for keyword terms. If I don't know, you know, the knowledge of everybody that's on this webinar today, but I can tell you what, keywords are incredibly important in LinkedIn for search and for your profile. Okay, we're not going to really dive into that today, but this is where you're going to do Boolean search. Okay, so you might be looking for owner, you know, in a certain industry. So you're looking for the guy who owns the business or the gal who owns the business, which gets you past that gatekeeper. And then once you find that ideal potential client that you have, then I would recommend that you go find out what groups they belong to. Okay, go join that group and then message them. But first, don't just you know, promote and spam them. You know, first you want to invite them to connect with you,
right?
And then turn around and provide something of value to them. Say, hey, this is what I do. Go check out what we did to our, you know, this client that we had, and here's the success rate, and here's, you know, what it did for his business. Okay, that's giving something of value with actually not. I mean, it's a soft sell. And it's not, I mean, it's still promotional, but more of a soft sell. That's what I like, when people don't think they're being sold and they think they're making the decisions, but you're really selling them.
Oh, that was a nice decisions there. Awesome.
It's hard to show you in here because I don't know the industry, you know. What you guys may want to do is go Google Boolean search, and that's Boolean. Okay, and actually this works in the same in Google. So let me show you guys a really cool tip. I only give, it's an advanced strategy to my paying clients. You guys want that?
Of course they do.
Is there a bunch of yeses in the chat box, Bill?
Hold on. Probably, because it's delayed a little bit.
Okay, if you guys are especially in the local space, this works for any industry, but especially if you're in the local space, here's what's really cool about this. All right, ready? All right, here it is. I'm just going to give it to you anyway. All right, so you're going to type in site : the website, linkedin.com. You're going to use / pub means public profile or the word in. All right, I'm going to use pub. This will get out all the rest of the stuff. I'm only looking for people, right? I'm looking for business owners. You're going to put quotations around this. I'm going to do insurance. I might do agent. And then I'm going to put the location.
Say what?
Oh, look at that.
Hey, I did something like that just yesterday, and I actually I think I put the insurance agent LinkedIn in Dallas, Texas, and it even worked like that as well, too. That's awesome.
Yeah. So this is really cool. So, you know, if you're getting a little frustrated in your local space and trying to find them in LinkedIn, I would do both, to be honest with you, because I love to search. And you're going to come up with different results in here than you probably would in LinkedIn. Okay, because remember, LinkedIn is based off of your network. These guys might not even be in your network. All right?
Wow.
So this is my favorite search tool. Now I can go directly to their profiles, and it gives me a little bit about them, so I'm not wasting a bunch of time going into the profiles. It tells me who they are. Oh, they're a sales and marketing manager for Peer Group.
Yeah, I was about to say, look at that, because it's telling you what these people are doing in their positions. And if you're looking for the marketing manager or the CEO or the people you really need, boom, it's right there. That's exactly why I went there yesterday.
Right. So that's a great way to do it. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a little tip here. You guys ready for another tip?
Please.
You want all your clients to put in their headlines that they're the owner or the CEO, okay? But I don't want you guys to do it because you're going to do the marketing campaigns, and people aren't searching for CEO or whatever unless they're a recruiter or unless they're looking for clients. So, but for you guys, you want to craft your headline that tells people what it is that you can do for them. What service do you provide? What value do you have for them? All right. I am the CEO of my own company, but I don't put that in my headline. Now I have it somewhere else in there, and it will come up if somebody's looking for that. But this is about keyword placement and keyword research. All right. That's all I'm going to tell you about that.
That's her story, and she's sticking to it.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, awesome. Billy?
Okay, hold on here. Let's scroll back down. Dirk was asking, isn't your reach limited when you're first starting out? There's only a certain amount of thousands of people you can reach until you start paying the $20 a month?
The $20 a month. That's what they call a job seeker account. You're not going to get unlimited searches with that. All right. So. All right. So this is going to kind of share with you, the differences between all the different premium accounts. Okay. So Land Your Dream Job, that's the job seekers account. That's what, $20 a month. You're not going to get unlimited searches, especially if you're looking for your ideal client and you're researching your competitors. Okay. What was the question? I'm sorry.
About limited reach whenever you first start.
No, there won't be unlimited reach because you're going to have. LinkedIn's going to say that your account is limited to however many searches on a free account, and what that is, I don't know. Mine was 600. When I went to Denver, I talked to a recruiter who didn't use LinkedIn as much as I use LinkedIn. He said it was around 2,000 for him before they shut him down.
Oh, okay.
So I think it depends on how much activity you have on LinkedIn, and believe me, I have searched high and low to find out what their algorithm is. I can't find it, and believe me, I don't know every single little thing that LinkedIn's doing because I'm not an executive for LinkedIn. But if somebody has that and wants to share it, by all means, I'll give you credit for it. So.
Okay, so then Mari was asking, what do you do if you're a marketer and to get into a dentist group? How do you add something if not a dentist? I think he's asking about the value question, like you were saying, is what are you giving them of value if you're trying to get into a dentist group?
Well, first of all, position yourself as a thought leader and authority in industry. Start writing publisher posts. Start putting updates out there. Get involved in the group discussion. Answer questions. Take your publisher post and take that link. I showed you how to take that link and post it in the discussions as long as it's not promotional. Okay, start out that way, because if you're posting something that is industry specific for them, even though you're in the marketing business, you're still positioning yourself as the authority because you're letting them know that you understand their industry. Okay, and then every so often do a promotional one. But you know what? Even in your publisher post, you should always have a call to action and a way to reach you and what services that you offer at the very end. So if they go and read it, they're gonna, and if they read through the whole article, guess what? It's going to be your call to action is going to be in there, and if they really like your content, they're going to reach out to you. Also, at the same time, LinkedIn does allow you to add 3 tags. This is keyword tags to your publisher post now. So if somebody's going and looking for your post, did you know that you guys could search posts? Ha ha ha. Cool, right?
Oh, no.
So I may go in and go, okay, who's writing articles about LinkedIn? Oh, look at that. So if you're looking for ideas, or you're looking to see what your competitors are writing about, or you're looking to see what other industry people are talking about, that's where you want to go and research.
That just opened up a whole new can. So
Yeah,
of worms.
Whoa.
Did I not tell you guys that this is not Facebook, and this is why people are so they're afraid of LinkedIn and many times, and it's such a huge mystery with what you can really accomplish using LinkedIn. It's phenomenal.
So quick question I got here is a person said, often I try to reach someone that does not have contact info and I don't have their email. They are also not in any groups. How do I message them?
Then you would want to get a premium account and do an in-mail.
In-mail, also. Okay.
Okay.
Because what people will put in their profile is, you know, you're limited to what they add in their profile, and a lot of people, believe it or not, they may not just put their stuff in, not in the contact info, but they also will go into their settings, and they will shut stuff off, and they will allow people to see what they want you to see. Now, for me, I think that's retarded to do that because if I'm trying to grow my business, why would I limit what people could see on my profile?
Okay.
No, it makes sense. Makes sense.
So are you guys ready for a tip where you can hijack your competitor's prospective clients?
Actually, we have one more question. Michael was actually asking, and I don't know if this is something you can do now or if you want to privately or whatever, but he was asking about the text of the content in the messages, like whenever you message somebody first, if you could show some of that.
If I did that, I would actually, I would be doing it and sending out a message right away. If all you need to do is go to my profile. Once you click on my profile, I'll show you the public view. And what you're going to see is before I scroll down is just the top of the posts, okay? Also, too, this is impressive. I know before LinkedIn only showed you if you only had 500 plus connections, that was social proof. But now if you're starting to publish, they can see all your first connections, how many first connections and followers that you have, okay? So that it can be social proof, too. Go and click on that LinkedIn strategy, secure new clients using groups. Go and read that. That was my case study. Does that answer his question?
I'm waiting for a response. I think so.
Let me know. Okay. So, Lem?
Yep.
What's your profile? What is it under?
On LinkedIn? Let's see here.
Are we connected?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, no, we're not. Okay, cool. So let's pretend that Lem is my direct competition. Okay?
No.
All right. And I'm going to go and see what Lem is up to because I call this, people call it business intelligence. I call it what it is. It's cyber stalking.
Hey, I've heard that before.
Yeah. Okay. So Lem just shared with everybody who's also viewed his profile. Now, if Lem has been doing an outreach campaign in groups and he's being a thought leader and the authority in his industry and people are going to check out his profile, they could be his prospective client, right? Say yes, yes?
Yes, yes, we lost Billy.
Okay.
Yes, we lost Billy. Just you and I, yes.
Yes. So look at this, because he has this activated, the people also viewed on the right-hand side. Now I could potentially go and visit these profiles to see if they meet my parameters as a prospect. That is how you hijack your competitor's potential client.
Cyber stalking. Ladies and gentlemen, do not listen to this woman. Let me tell you, she's stalking my ideas. No, this is good. This is good for you to know because actually you can see what's going on. And wow, when I first heard her say this, I thought, really? You can do that?
And Lem, I see that you've been using my strategy on your
Yes, mama. Yes.
Okay, you guys want to know how to shut yours off so that
yes.
your competition isn't cyber stalking you? All right, drum roll, please. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to hover over your profile photo at the top. You're going to go to, privacy and settings. You're going to hit manage. It's going to ask you to log in again.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Why does LinkedIn have you log in a lot?
Just to make sure that nobody's getting in if somebody hijacked into your site somehow and got in and started changing a bunch of stuff, I guess. I think it's a privacy thing. So anyway, you're going to go to, remember the show or hide viewers of this profile also viewed you. Okay, you're going to click on that. Click on that. And it is already auto-populated with a check. Uncheck it and save your changes.
Boom.
Boom. That is an advanced tip that I only share with my paying clients.
Wow. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was the last question. It's awesome. Are you guys getting a lot out of this? Give me some yeses in that question box there. I know I had a few people on here that actually was asking questions on the phone too. And I was like, oh, there's people asking questions on the phone as well.
I see Leora asked a question, what does a business premium account cost? I think I pulled that up and I got out of it. It depends on what it is that you want to do with it. So I recommend business premium. If you pay monthly, it's about $60 a month. If you're really a professional and you're looking more into doing like sales, and you want to integrate it with like Salesforce and whatnot, I would get a Sales Navigator account. And if you're a recruiter, a headhunter, or an HR for a large firm, then I would go and get Recruiter Solutions. Also, LinkedIn has something that they call Talent Solutions for recruiters. It can get very pricey, and even the recruiter accounts can go upwards of about $500 a month. So, like I said, I always try free first and never upgrade to something until I absolutely have to upgrade to it and pay for it.
Nice.
Danny actually asked too, how do you keep up with all the wall notes?
You mean the news feed?
I think so. I'm not really sure.
Is that what you mean, newsfeed? I don't. A lot of people, like I said, 50% of members will access this on their mobile phones. So people are really looking at this stuff probably before work, while they're having their cup of coffee during their lunch break, maybe whatnot. So that's why I like to use a combination of status updates and publisher posts and getting involved in groups.
Okay.
Nice.
I think that's all the questions. I don't see any more.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you for joining us today. We wanted to give you this free content because we knew that these are things that you are probably missing out on. And a lot of misconception with LinkedIn is going on, and there is a lot of money that's being left on the table, especially for you guys who are just in the local marketing or you're in the online marketing space. It doesn't matter. You guys could be utilizing this platform much, much more better than what you have been because of what you've heard in the past when it comes to LinkedIn marketing. And we've given you some strategies and tips today for free. We're also going to do part 2 of this webinar series coming up next Tuesday at 2 o'clock the same time. We would love for you guys to take on that because we're also going to be explaining some things that you missed out today because we couldn't go too deep into because of time restrictions, but also there's a lot more important things that are left on the table here. And I know today what we've given you, you can go out and implement these strategies right now, and you can always watch the replay. Bill, is there a link or something that we can give out? Is that possible?
Yeah, I just pasted the link in the chat for everybody to be able to access. And if you're watching the replay of this video, it'll actually be below the video as well.
The description. Awesome, awesome. Tracy is she's a superstar, rock star when it comes to LinkedIn. And I'm very, very impressed how when I first heard her talk about people actually, getting her to being flown from different parts of the country to go in and help the companies teach their staff and help them with LinkedIn. That right there was like, wow, this is amazing. And these are the things that some of you local marketers are really are wishing and hoping and dreaming of, to have someone pay for you to come and teach their staff or to teach them about what you're doing. Because believe it or not, if Tracy's doing it, that means you can do it too. I know, just because she's pretty,
Wow.
with her hat on backwards don't mean anything, right? Trust me. If she can do it,
I was feeling like a rebel today. I have a Sons of Anarchy shirt on, so.
right? Nice.
Absolutely.
Well, Bill, is there anything you want to add to that?
That is it, guys. I hope everybody learned a couple things. I know I learned a bunch of stuff. So
Awesome. So,
next week.
Tracy, is there anything you like to add as well?
Yeah, guys, here I'm going to put in the chat. I see some of you wanting to connect with me afterwards. I'm going to put my link in there. And then go connect with me, please. And then message me. There you go. I think, did it go in there? I didn't see it. Yep, at the top there. That's my profile. Please go message me if you want to talk with me further one-on-one. Absolutely. I think next week we're going to cover some more stuff next week. You guys don't want to miss it, because we're going to be presenting something to you that's going to just blow your mind. Blow your mind.
Absolutely.
Well said. All right. Well, with that being said, thank you guys for joining us. Get on that link, sign up right now to get next week to hold your spot, because this is going to be a very private, intimate, webinar that we're going to do with you. So, hey, be ready for it. All right. Get into that right now. And once again, thank you guys for watching. And Bill and Tracy, I'm out.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.